So did you know that so many years ago Samsung started as a small, okay, not quite small, but it started as a grocery shop selling general merchandise. Yes, the Samsung, the global conglomerate that we see today, started as a small grocery shop selling general merchandise. So you see that kaduka next to you, that sells a little bit of rice, a little bit of sugar, small things here and there. That is how the Samsung that we know today started. And so many years later, it is what it is today. Probably you are watching this from a Samsung phone. Probably you have held a Samsung phone in your lifetime, or even someone you know has held a Samsung phone. And well, for most of us, we only know the phones, but it is bigger than we think, bigger than we imagine. In recent studies in Uganda show that many businesses do not survive the loss of their owner or even incapacitation of their owner for a number of reasons, one of which is family conflict and stress. However, in 2014, even when the Samsung CEO then suffered a severe heart attack that left him incapacitated for a good 7 years, Samsung still continued in operation, and it is still operational today, running smoothly and growing bigger. Hello, my name is Karamagi Melanie Kwanzi, and today we are going to be discussing a very important topic: how to prepare for incapacitation, how to legally prepare for incapacitation as a business owner. So, do you believe that your small business can grow beyond you? You know, like the Bible says, you leave an inheritance for your children's children. Samsung has been in existence, I think, for generations now. The CEO that was incapacitated for 7 years died in October 2020 at the age of 78. But the business still continues up to today. So even amidst his incapacitation, there were certain structures, I believe, that were in place that ensured that it continued operating. So for many of us, when it comes to estate planning, we are quick to run to making a will after death. But what if a tragedy or calamity strikes before you die and you are unable to make any decisions for that business, for that estate? You are alive, but the business is still in operation, but you are incapacitated. So are there things that you can do to protect your business even amidst incapacitation? I'm not a prophet of doom, but for many of us, we think incapacitation can happen only to old people. So before we delve into that, let me define what incapacitation is. In estate planning, incapacitation means that you are unable to make decisions for yourself. Yes, this can be personal, this can be financial, this can be health decisions. So because of a number of reasons, let's say an illness like stroke or dementia, you are unable to make decisions for yourself. Or maybe an accident that left you incapacitated. You are unable to make decisions for yourself at that point. Yes. So what happens to the business? What happens to your estate in that time of incapacitation? Yes. So before we delve into how to acquire an incapacity plan, let me share briefly why it's important to plan for incapacity. First of all, it helps you to choose who will manage your affairs. Yes, for many of us, probably we have worked with someone, we have trained someone, they know our values, they are aware of our values, and this is the person that would like, maybe we consider even mentioning in our will when we die. So if you do not make an incapacity plan, your family will force to be go to court, and for court to appoint someone to manage your affairs. Yes. because of your incapacity. However, the person they choose may not be the person that you would have chosen in the first place. So it helps you to choose someone that you would have chosen were you alive, or were you probably considering making a will. Yes, and then second, it helps to avoid family conflict and stress. I am sure that we have all, maybe not personally experienced, but we have heard of scenarios where estates can cause conflict and stress in families. Yes, instead of drawing families together, it is drawing them apart. Instead of an illness drawing your family closer, it is drawing them apart. Why? Because you're trying, what would mom want? What would dad want? You know, what decision would they make? And then there's a lot of pulling back and forth, there's a lot of fighting. So to avoid all that in a family, it is advised that you make an incapacity plan. Yes, in case of anything, in case anything happens, in case I am alive but unable to make decisions, it helps to avoid family conflict and stress. Yes, and then also, uh, it helps avoid making losses, financial losses to be precise. So imagine you own a business, you know, um, and bills have to be paid, things have to be run, but your accounts, you're the only one who has access to them. And for many of us, we might assume that authority is automatic because someone is your spouse, because someone is your child. That is not the case. They need actually authorization from court if you have not given them to, if you've not given it to them in your incapacity plan. So it is always advised that you have an incapacity plan to avoid those financial losses, you know, that may come with not having an incapacity plan in place. Then also it avoids legal risks. Yeah, it avoids legal risks. So imagine you don't have any capacity plan in place. Things could be done behind your back that could cause loss. Yeah, to your business, to your estate. Yeah, so to avoid all those legal risks, have an incapacity plan in place. Yeah, to ensure that this business keeps growing even when you're unable to make decisions for yourself. So, in case you are considering making an incapacity plan, which documents um, can affect that plan? So, first of all, we are going to talk about a power of attorney, a durable power of attorney. So, like the name, it is a power of attorney. It is giving power to someone else to run your affairs. So, this person is called Adoni. Yeah. So, you are appointing someone, you're giving them powers to make certain decisions. Powers of attorney can be specific. You can specify which roles this person is playing. Are they authorized to sell land? Are they authorized to acquire loans? You know, so you have to be specific in your power of attorney, basically specifying what this person, what authority you're giving to this person. Yes. And then yeah, so basically this power of attorney takes effect the moment you are declared incapacitated by your doctor. This power of attorney takes effect there and then. And you can also make it limited. You can say that once I gain my capacity back, then that power of attorney ceases in operation. Then we also have a healthcare power of attorney. So you may have trained someone else to run your business affairs and things like that, but then when it comes to your health, this is a more personal issue, and you may want someone else to uh, make decisions regarding your health. Probably this could be your wife, or a trusted friend, or a child, your child. Yeah, so you can also have a healthcare power of attorney. So basically, this one, which hospital would you want to go to? Which doctor would you want to uh, treat you, you know, things like that. So this person basically has the authority to make all those decisions on your behalf. Yes, and then we have what we call a living trust. Yeah. What is a trust? So a trust, you are appointing someone known as a trustee, and you are transferring all your estate. Okay, not, it may not necessarily be all, but your estate property to this trustee. Yes, you transfer your property to this trustee, so they manage this estate property on your behalf. they manage the estate property on your behalf. So like I mentioned, it may be all your property, it may be some of your property. Yeah. So this trustee is in charge of making decisions. The difference between a power of attorney and a trustee and a trust, you are transferring the property to the trustee. A power of attorney, you are not necessarily transferring anything, you are just giving them powers to manage. So that's where the difference is. So it is highly advised that a trust is be revocable. What do I mean? Once you gain your capacity back, basically this trust ceases to be in operation. So you get all authority, all the authority and reverts back to you as the owner. So you're able to manage things by yourself. Yes, and then finally, we talk about a guardianship nomination. So for those of us who have children, you wouldn't want to leave your children in the hands of anyone once you're unable to make decisions even for them. So it's very important that you adopt a guardian, but it is not by word of mouth, but by a document, an official document that can be recognized in courts of law. And it is basically stating that I have appointed so and so to make any major decisions regarding my children, where they go to school, which hospitals they go to, things like that. It protects your children from uncertainties or eventualities that may negatively affect them. Yes. So basically, those are the documents that you can draft to effect your incapacity plan. So once you have decided to make an incapacity plan or to put an incapacity plan in place, what do you do? First of all, sit down, think about your wishes, your priorities. What do you want to do? Which property do you want to be managed on your behalf in case you're not around? And then once you have thought about all your wishes and priorities, think about the people that you'd want to manage on your behalf. Could they be family members, friends that you have worked with for a while, people that you have trained and know the business affairs inside and out? And after you have chosen those agents, talk to a lawyer, explain your wishes to them, and then they can advise you on which documents you can draft, which documents can help you to put your incapacity plan in place. Yes, and so in case of any eventualities, that lawyer will be able to inform your family members of your wishes through that incapacity plan. Yes, but also bear in mind that you ought to review that incapacity plan frequently. Why? Because things might change. You might acquire more property. Maybe by the time you made the plan, you had no children, and now you need to include the children. So keep reviewing that incapacity plan periodically to ensure that your wishes and priorities are reflected and up to date. So I hope you've learned a thing or two about incapacity planning. Do not wait for death. There are eventualities that may arise before you even die, and you need to plan for your estate. So I hope you can learn a thing or two. You have learned a thing or two. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, 15 minutes with the law. I remain Karamagi Melanie Kwanzi. I hope you have yourselves a blessed day, a blessed week. And I hope that you can share this with someone. It can help them to plan better and protect your interests and the interests of those that you love. Yeah, I hope to see you next time. Bye.